There's a really, really, really big open wound in the Halo community, and I feel like nobody really wants to talk about it. You know, I'd like to think that, I've done my best to be relatively objective about my criticisms of 343 Industries and Halo Infinite and, the greater, franchise that is Halo, this giant Magellan cloud that is, Halo. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of shifting gears. There's been a lot of decisions I haven't liked. I would say in the grand scheme of things with 343 running, Halo, I have been displeased more than I've been pleased with Halo, but that doesn't change the inescapable and unavoidable fact that there are people making Halo. There are people who have children, who have dogs and cats they come home to every day, who have lives, who have people they love and people that love them. The way that we treat the people that make these games that we love and want to love and are passionate about is inhuman. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that no person that treats these people the way that they do online would ever treat them that way to their face. Frankly, they'd probably never treat another person that way to their face because it's inescapably brutal. It's awful. It's terrible. Nobody deserves that kind of scrutiny or, fear in their lifetime. There are people who are getting death threats. People getting death threats right now. The Halo subreddit has just now been shut down because of the absolute lack of reasonable discourse in the Halo subreddit. It is officially shut down until Monday. The mods have had essentially no choice. I would argue that the mods have not really done a lot to distill or get rid of any of the bad discourse in the past, and I would say that I take issue with a lot of the way that they managed to look after the subreddit and whatnot, but that's kind of a story for another time. Right now, the crucial issue and the crucial problem that we face is the inescapable fact that the Halo community is toxic. It is absolutely toxic. People are incapable of reasonable discourse in times like this. Yes, the microtransactions in Halo Infinite are not good. They're terrible. I think they're awful. Does that mean that people should get death threats? Does that mean that Sketch should have to be talking about on Twitter or on Reddit about how he's been being berated and how the whole entire team has constantly received insults left and right, nonstop, 24 hours a day since the games have come out, since the game is launched effectively, on the 15th? Does that really... That's not what they signed up for. They signed up to make a video game. They signed up to make a video game and they hoped that they were making a game that people would love. Maybe they missed the mark with the way that the game launched. Maybe the game is unsatisfactory to people. But that does not and will never justify the treatment that they have received. And this isn't just a problem with Halo. This is a problem with gaming discourse in general. People refuse to look at things objectively. You can't understand that there are people, hearts and minds, pieces that come together to form this product that we end up ultimately consuming. It's something that is inescapable. There's nothing that we can do to change the way that people talk, as far as I can tell. People need to just wake the fuck up and stop and think before they do things. And ask yourself, would you talk to your family this way? Would you talk to your friends this way? Would you treat them this way if they did something you disagreed with, or if you didn't like it? Is that something you would really do? I don't think it is. I think you would treat them with more dignity than you treat these people with online, because you don't have the burden of having to know their lives or know them as people or who they are. I think that's the truth of the story. I think that if you take away anonymity on the internet and you take away the ability to just kind of shout in people's directions without any sort of recourse or repercussions, all of a sudden people become a little bit cozier and friendlier. The meat of the point I'm trying to make here is the way that the Halo community acts is unsatisfactory. You can be productive. You can boycott with your wallet and choose not to purchase these microtransactions. You can complain about the content and say, hey, I'd like to see this fixed. But let me tell you something. When 343 has come out and told you that they have a fix for the problem, they're going to be integrating the fix, and they're planning to fix it, what more do you want from them? Do you want them to magically teleport the game into a working state? And so what if it's going to take a few weeks longer? So what if it's not an instant fucking switch that you can push and instantly make the game better? Does that really kill you? Do you have other games in your library that you could perhaps play? Does it absolutely need to be Halo Infinite that is occupying all of your time? Or have you built up an expectation in your head that is impossible to fill, no matter what the game ended up being? I say this as a person who I think has maybe overstepped my boundaries from time to time and kind of gotten into a point where maybe I'm not arguing in the best faith. I really do think that I have made some poor decisions in the past before. And I want to say that I do, apologize for that. I released a video about a week or so ago where I almost kind of dived into the hate mob that is sort of on the Halo subreddit right now, but I decided to kind of walk it back. I figured that the concept and the way that the game was designed was very intentionally done, by the devs, by the publishers and whatnot. And I don't think that's the case. I very much disagree that that's the case. I don't think that it's a simple act of malice or anything that was done with this ill of an intent. I think the game is designed to make money, and I think that's the way that the world unfortunately works. So on some level, yes, there were decisions made to say, hey, let's make this work like this. Let's strip this feature and repackage it in a way where people can, purchase these things in a way that they typically were not able to before, or vice versa, rather, people are not able to sort of customize on a level that they were before. The details don't matter. The meat of the point here is this isn't going to work. The way that you're trying to discuss things is not going to get anyone to listen to your feedback. It's going to get them to shut down and not hear your feedback. It's going to scare them and force them to take the community into factor much less, because when you do something like this, you appear irrational. And at that point, your opinion is useless. This is kind of a rant. I'm sorry. I really do apologize for the structure of this, but I hope that you guys kind of see where I'm coming from here, and at the very least, maybe we can actually have an open conversation and talk about how feedback should be incorporated. This is actually a video that I've wanted to make for a long time, but this is kind of the last straw that broke the camel's back. Towards July of last year, I thought about doing this, toward the campaign reveal at the Microsoft event, I want to say in August, I thought about doing this because no matter what came out, no matter what was happening, nobody was ever satisfied with anything. Ever. Not a single moment were people fully satisfied. There were always people who took extreme issue and had something that they wanted to absolutely ring 343 about and just terrorize them for. It's got to stop.